All right, let's look at a few examples. I'll break this into several videos to make them shorter. So the first one, find the domain, the vertical and horizontal asymptotes. All right, well, what we need to do first is factor. And so that makes this x over x plus 3, x minus 3, okay? And our domain is going to be all real numbers except for what makes this equal to 0. So x plus 3 equals 0, x minus 3 equals 0, x equals a minus 3, and x equals a plus 3. So the domain is all real numbers except x equals negative 3 and x equals 3. Okay. Now, we look at this and say, okay, well, can we cancel anything in the numerator and denominator? Nothing cancels. And because of that, then our vertical asymptotes are the same as our zeros. So x equals negative 3 and x equals 3 are two vertical asymptotes. Now, what is our horizontal asymptote? Okay, well, in this case, because the numerator has a degree less than the denominator, we have a horizontal asymptote at y equals 0. Okay. Now, if there had been a bigger numerator or denominator, that all depends on it. Remember, there's three possible choices there. And so when we have the numerator smaller, then we get y equals 0 is our asymptote. All right, so we've got the domain and vertical and horizontal asymptotes for that one. Well, what about the next one? Well, the next one, first thing we have to do again is factor. So that's going to be x plus 1, x minus 1, all over. Now here we have to factor out an x first. And so let's do that here so then we can kind of see what we have to factor. All right, so this would factor into, it looks like 2 and a 7 will make 14 and add to 9. So then we have x plus 2, x plus 7. So those now are going to be our factors in the denominator. So that gives us a domain is all real numbers except x equals 0, x equals a negative 2, and x equals a negative 7. Okay, because we set those equal to 0 and solve for x. Now our vertical asymptotes, well, nothing in the numerator and denominator cancels, so our vertical asymptotes are going to be the same. X equals 0, x equals a negative 2, and x equals a negative 7. Okay. Now, what about, what else do we need to know? Oh yeah, the horizontal asymptote. So here we go. Squared, cubed, same thing here. It's one different and the numerator is smaller. And so we have a horizontal asymptote is y equals 0. Okay. So again, if it had been the other way around, if it had been 3 on the top, 2 on the bottom, that one you would have just divided. And if they'd have been equal, then it's going to be the coefficients would have determined our horizontal asymptote. All right. All right. The next thing we need to do is let's look at finding X and Y intercepts. Okay. Well, how do we do that? Well, again, we're going to have to factor. So that's always going to be our first priority. And so if we factor our numerator, that's going to be x plus 1, x plus 7. Denominator, that looks like x plus 5, x plus 6. That adds to 11 and 30. Okay, that's okay. All right. So if we want the y intercept, then x equals 0, and that gives us, well, if we get 0 here, that's going to give us 7 over 30 for x. And so that gives us a 7 over 30 and 0. Wait, 0 is x, sorry. What am I doing? I'm not awake. It's like, that doesn't make sense. That's going to give us y. Got to write what I mean. All right, that makes more sense. Now, x-intercepts, we're going to set the numerator equal to 0 and solve. So each of these factors will put equal to 0. And so x plus 1 equals 0 and x plus 7 equals 0. So x equals a negative 1 and x equals a negative 7. And so we have our points negative 1, 0 and negative 7, 0. So we have two x-intercepts, we have the one y-intercept, and that's going to be all we need to do for the first one. Now the second one, that's going to be a little more involved. So it looks like on this one, we really can't factor the numerator easily. It's not going to be one that we can do. And so we're just leave it the same. Now the denominator, it looks like we can factor out the 3 and we get x squared minus 4. So that's going to be 3 times x plus 2, x minus 2. And this one's going to be some, if we take that over to the other side, that's going to be a square root of something. So that one's not going to be a factor that can cancel. And so our y-intercept is going to be x equals 0. So if we plug in 0 here, we get 94. Here we get 12. So it's going to be 94 over 12. And so that gives us a number. Let's see, what does that give us? 94 divided by 12. Put that in reduced fraction form. That's going to be 47 over 6. I guess it only divides out one thing. And so we get 0.47 over 6. And our y-intercepts, what we do is we have to set that whole thing equal to 0 for the x-intercepts. 94 minus 2x squared equals 0. I'll take the 2x squared over. I'll divide by 2. So x squared equals 47. Now I'll take the square root of both sides. So x is equal to plus or minus the square root of 47. So that gives me 47, 0, and square root of 47, 0. So we have plus and minus the square root of 47 comma 0 for two x-intercepts. Okay, so our y-intercept and then the two x-intercepts. All right, so we'll stop with that and do another video in a second.